Steinhouse, and welcome to today's Money Chat Now interview. In this portion of the show, I take the opportunity to interview interesting people, introduce you to their products, their services, or just their good intentions. Hey, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed, and I'll bet we can make that happen. All right, let me tell you a little bit about today's guest. So today's guest is an accomplished glass art gaffer for the past 20 years. He went from hopeless, homeless, and heartbroken to meeting a mentor who helped him find his purpose again. His vision is to help other artists and creators learn how to utilize innovative technology to bring real-world art to the digital space, and not only to survive, but to thrive in any economy. He wants to help other artists realize that if their passion is bigger than their problem in life, anything is possible. I really think you're going to enjoy this guy. He's got so much energy. He's got so much passion. So I want to introduce you to my guest, Mitchell McCormack. What's going on, Mitchell? What's happening, man?
What's up, Larry? Thank you for having me on.
Dude, I'm excited to have you on. I just knew your energy would just explode in the camera. And sure enough, there it is. You know, stop competing with the shirt here. You know, look at the shirt he's wearing. He's trying to compete with me. We had somebody that I know, we had somebody actually wore a jacket that was similar to mine just to compete with me. You know, it's definitely becoming a competition. So I have a question for you. For you. So you're a teenager, I guess, and you start learning how to blow glass, right? How in the world does somebody learn how to blow glass when they're a teenager, and why would you do it? And I mean, you know, there are people out there who want to become electrical engineers and technicians and car mechanics and teachers, and I don't know, and you want to become a glass blower. You got to explain this to me.
Well, besides being brought up by my parents were hippies, so that had a little something to do with it, I'm sure. No, my father actually used to take me up to a local glass studio, and honestly, I fell in love with it. So I was like the weird little kid watching these glass blowers every single day. Honestly, probably even before I started, right? It was probably a couple of years. I would just sit there on these, like in a chair and just watch them. And probably like, who is this kid? So one day I picked up a broom and was like, will you guys teach me? So I started sweeping the floors, and I was like, now will you teach me?
That's great.
And they were like, yeah, I guess we will. You're already here all the time. So I really fell in love with it. And honestly, throughout all of school, I really knew I was going to be a glass artist. Yeah.
So that's really cool. So you actually said, hey, look, I want to do this. It's right out of Think and Grow Rich, actually. It's right out of the book Think and Grow Rich, where where Napoleon Hill says, I think it was the apprentice for Thomas Edison, I believe it was. The guy shows up at his door and says, I just want to be your apprentice. So you basically did the same thing. You said, I'll sweep the floor, I'll be your apprentice, and I will learn this art. That's pretty wild. Okay, so now and how old were you when this happened?
I think I was about 13 when that happened. I know I had been going up to the studios for a few years. I want to say maybe 2.5 years. And I mean, I was there every day. After school, I would just sit and watch them. I saw nothing. There was nothing on the world where you could play with 2,000 degrees, you know, and actually do this for a living. So yeah, I was like, definitely, this is for me. Yeah.
All right. So tell me some of the cool stuff you've made, because it's just fascinating to me.
Well, I have more of a Western clientele, and I would say some of the most fun projects, actually, I did a chandelier. It was 400 pieces. It was 3 stories tall, wow. 2.5 stories tall. My bad. Didn't mean to exaggerate. 2.5 stories tall, and it was a crimson red. It's called Crimson Cascade. It was a beautiful piece. And the funny story about that is we spent a lot of time on the design of it. We knocked the project out in absolutely, I think it was 1 month, actually. About a month and a half, we knocked it out, me and another partner of mine. And we installed it. It was up for 1 year, and the actual place that it was in, they bulldozed it down with the chandelier in it. And I was like, you guys are crazy. This is a 3... I am not going to get out, Larry. I'm already here.
Wow. So they bulldozed the plate with the chandelier in it? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, that is the one project I think I love the most, and I still can't wrap my head around why someone did that. I mean, I just
Well,
money
I
aside,
guess they
right? I
paid.
can't
I
figure
guess
it
they
out.
paid you for it. Whatever somebody
Yeah.
wants to do with your artwork after that. But that's just wow. What a shame, though. That's pretty. So what is something like
Isn't
that
that
cost?
crazy?
Wait, what did something like that cost the guy who hired you guys?
That one was just under $1 million chandelier.
Wow. So and it took you a month to
About
make
three
it.
quarters of a million.
Wait, and it took you a
Yeah,
month
we
to make it.
cranked it out. Yeah. The design took the longest part. Honestly, going through the
Oh, I see.
process with the
Okay,
client,
sure.
them understanding, that probably took about a 2 month process. But to actually make it, I mean, that was record time, even for the pros like us. Like that was record time to make a chandelier like that. So,
Wow.
but it was clarity. We just had a lot of clarity with the client, so we knew what we were going to do, and we knocked it out.
Well,
So
I hope you have great pictures of it.
I do. Yeah,
That's good
absolutely.
because that'll be really helpful. So, what are some of the latest projects that you've worked on for glass blowing or projects for maybe for clients that you've been working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually working with Vladislav Isakov. He runs it's a ballroom dance company. He teaches people how to dance, right?
Sure. Actually, I think I know who he
Um,
is. Yeah, sure.
yeah, Vladislav.
Yeah.
So me and him were working on a project to do trophies, which we were working on for this summer. I think we moved it to next summer. We're actually gonna use the trophies. And again, it was just we both needed clarity, and it's just between the client and I of understanding exactly what the client needs. That all depends on the time span, any project that I work on. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. So me and him are working on a project. I just am about to send him a sketch actually of
Cool.
what we're gonna do. So yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so now you're so when you so I mean, how old are you? Like 32, 33, 34?
I am 32 as
Okay.
of July of this
So
year.
so you've been doing this for a good 15 plus years. Now when does somebody what is the average person to become a master at this? How long does it take for somebody to become a master at glass blowing?
That is a really good question. I would say, honestly, anywhere, for most things, the 10-year mark, you can become a master.
Mm-hmm.
With glass,
Sure.
it can be anywhere from, I mean, I would say maybe a good 20 years it would take. Maybe
Okay.
15, 20 years it would take to become a master. And only because you're not only just creating an art. This is the extreme sports of art, Larry. Like, this isn't just painting, right? So you're learning how to utilize physics. You're learning how to utilize chemistry on top of being an artist, which is quite the combination, right? So definitely for artists, I would say around the 15-year mark is when most people become masters, and that obviously it's a give or take.
Wow, it just fascinates me. Like I've been to like Corning and I've seen the glass blowers do their thing, but I've never actually like tried to. By the way, when you blow does the heat come up the tube or anything or no?
It does not. Most people think that you cannot suck the bubble in through the blowpipe. Well, if there's no glass on the end of it, yes, do not do that. But you can. It will not. It will not make you age less. Like you don't lose years off your life. It's totally fine. It's the biggest myth that is out there with glass blowing.
Okay. So, what are there other myths, or it's just one of those things that people are like, wow, that guy must have some good lungs just because he could blow the glass.
I think a lot of people think I have really great lungs, but little do people know, I will say this, that when you're actually blowing the material out, it is actually, you use less air than you would if blowing out a piece of bubble gum.
Wow, okay.
So I think that's a pretty fun
That's
fact.
pretty interesting. So it gets really hot, and you just blow it out, and then it forms a shape. And then now, like I've seen people do some really cool designs with that shape. So like you could twist it. Is that what happens? I guess I'm kind of fascinated by the whole thing.
Absolutely. No, the process is really fascinating. Honestly, I still love the process more than I sometimes love the end result just because it's so magical. Yeah, I mean, once you blow the glass out, there's various techniques and forms you can do with the color application. Just to kind of start you off here, we can either crush the color up, and all the color, by the way, is made with different metals. So a lot of people think, it's just like a dye. We actually use different metal oxides to create the color.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, you can twist the glass up. We can overlay certain colors on top of each other to actually create almost like a glowing effect with some colors. Uranium, for instance, uranium will make it glow under a black light. I think
Wow.
it's fascinating.
How do you
Absolutely.
get uranium?
Well, we don't get the raw uranium. We
Okay.
get the glass made with uranium.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, well, maybe we should worry about all these glass blowers are gonna blow up the world.
Well, maybe that's my plan, Larry. Who knows?
Well, you sound like the kind of guy that might do that. Absolutely. All right, so so you're doing all this. You're blowing glass. You're having a good time. With this now. And in your intro, we talked a little bit about you being homeless, heartbroken, that kind of thing. So what happened? What's the story? What's the Mitchell story?
The Mitchell story. Well, I will give it to you straight. So, I think a lot of my story relates to listening to the wrong people.
Okay.
First off, is a lot of people expect any artist to be a starving artist. And I believe that. Now, when I was younger, I didn't believe that. Obviously, I was grabbing brooms and grabbing tools and
Yeah,
it's like,
sure.
let's do this. And I think in my early 20s, I really started to believe that I wasn't worth it and I wasn't capable of being extremely successful, even though my trajectory at the time was moving in an upward slope, right? It was my disbelief in myself that just really landed me in a hole, and that followed me for a long, long time. I would say that belief system was ingrained in me, and it was about a good 10-year process until I could escape that mentality. And so, yes, I was constantly around the wrong people. I was constantly around people that were jealous of any success, or, I was constantly around people that, they were just negative. It was negative energy. And so, up until I met my mentor, very recently, I started to really escape that mindset, and I knew my capabilities were much bigger than my problems, right?
That's pretty
My
awesome.
passions and purpose were much bigger than my problems. So, yeah, I've seen it all. I have lived in the gutters of this world, and I know both sides of the gun here, so to speak. And if I can do that, anyone is capable of getting out of that mentality.
So it's amazing the self-talk that we have. Like you saying, just the word "starving artist," right? That's stuck in your brain for so long, and you actually made it happen. Whether it was supposed to happen or not, you made it happen, and that's dangerous. A lot of people come to that situation. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I actually said that in order for me to be a multimillionaire, I needed to go bankrupt twice. And the funny part was, I literally went bankrupt twice. I went bankrupt when I was in my 20s, and then in 2008, I tell the story about it. Anyway, so in my 20s, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I bought a bunch of furniture and bought some crap, and didn't know how to pay my bills. Went bankrupt. But in 2008, I guess you could say I really went bankrupt. But somewhere along the line, I had heard that you had to go bankrupt twice to be a millionaire, and sure enough, that's what happened, and that's my belief. And the funny part was, I had to live through that belief. Now, you actually had to live through that belief too, and now you have to change that belief, and you have to become who you really are. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to you more about what you have in store for us. So hold on 1 minute. We'll be right back.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You've thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask one of your burning questions to the stock options sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call 866-424-2829 for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes, or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited. So what are you waiting for? Call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
welcome back to Money Chat Now, the interview portion, and we are currently interviewing Mitchell McCormack. And of course, if you'd like to be a guest on this show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Tell me why I should interview you, and I will make that happen. All right, Mitchell, back to you. So, all right, so now you're deciding you want to change your life. So what is it? So talk to me about that. I realize it wasn't that long ago because I've met you. We've spoken about this. And it wasn't that long ago. But what does it feel like to just be on the path to change your life?
That's a good question. I was just thinking about that this morning.
Great.
Yeah, no, it is. It's such a relief. It's like I can breathe again, right? It's clarity in what I'm doing, and I mean, honestly, it does feel like winning the lottery. Cool. It really does. Yeah, absolutely. There was two choices I could have made, right? After I met my mentor, and I stumbled forward. We'll just say I failed forward, as they say, right? And it takes a lot of time, and no matter how much time it took, I'm so glad I'm here. Like being able to have this conversation with you.
Sure.
Because even a month ago, I couldn't foresee this happening, but I knew there was something better. So it does feel amazing.
So there was something I had seen that you had won a $50,000 business makeover. Was that what that was called?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Yes, I did.
That sounds interesting too.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I was at a convention and got called up on stage. I was with 10 other people, and we had 2 minutes to speak.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, this happened in June of this year, and we had 2 minutes to speak. I got up, and honestly, my whole thoughts for Deep Thought Studios just came flooding out. I don't even really remember what I said. I just knew that it was it was everything I wanted, and I said it right. It was one of those perfect timing kind of things. And I get to work with a lot of mentors, especially when it comes to finances and it comes to understanding money, what I'm doing with it, because a lot of the problem I had too was falling into that hopeless, homeless situation was, the other thing they tell artists, right, is that artists are never good at business. That's a really common thing we hear, and I also believe that. So, right. It's really crazy, and it's not true. So being able to work with a bunch of mentors, an overload, I would say, getting to meet incredible people, I want to share that with as many people as I can too, and get as many people involved with what I'm doing as well.
So I'll tell you something interesting. So, you said a couple of things that are important. One is you said that artists, you were told that artists will never make good business people, right? So here's a question for you. Do you think I could be a good glassblower?
Yeah.
Of course, right? How do I become a good glassblower?
Well, I teach you. I will teach you later.
You teach me, or somebody can teach me. Exactly right. Somebody can teach me. Exactly.
Or someone.
And that's exactly right. This is the problem that we have in society is we think that we're supposed to know everything naturally. Listen, if I knew what I knew now, if I knew that when I was your age, I would be so much different. My reality would be so much different because I would have known those things earlier. It just you just have to learn them. You have to decide you're gonna do them, and you have to study them and then put them into practice. Not just study, but put them into practice. So yeah, I mean, I congratulate you on taking some great steps on learning new things and learning new ways. And the best thing you can do for you is to stop the self-talk, the negative self-talk. And the negative self-talk will always put you in a bad place. Always. Have you noticed that when you say something, it always happens?
Yeah. Actually, yes.
So say the opposite. Start saying things. So it's like I do this show, Money Chat Now. I decided I wanted to do this show. I actually this is like my third or fourth iteration of this show over the last 8 or 10 years because I really enjoy doing this. And now this one, it just gets better and better and better. The set we're in is a beautiful set. I have an engineer who's working this show with me. I'm interviewing interesting people like you, and I'm having a great time because I decided I want to do it, and I love it, and I'm going to continue to do it. Just the same thing with you. You just have to decide you're going to do it. You decide you're going to become the whatever person you want. You want to become a rich person, you can become a rich person. You want to be a semi-starving artist, you can be a semi-starving artist. But don't do that. I think you can be rich, happy, and a really cool artist. So what kind of projects do you have coming up?
So currently, actually, I am working on a step-by-step course to help artists save time and money in the studio.
Okay, and this would be for just glass blowers or different kind of artists?
Most sculptors can apply. This goes for any sculpting, I would say, because honestly, my niche is glass art. But, I wanted to make it to where other artists can get involved, but it's harder to have a painter get in on the same steps as a glass artist, right? But for any sculptors, even ceramic artists, there's tips and tricks that we actually are very fluid in, right? But the main goal is just to help artists save time and money in the studio. One, because I know how it is as an artist. Things are not getting cheaper. And so, I've found ways and little hacks when working with clients or working with assistants in the studio to help them save that time and money. And man, it's for over 20 years, it's gotten me pretty far. Because, glass blowing is a very, very expensive thing to do. So I have that going on. And
okay, so you want to train other artists? Is that basically what you're saying? You want to train other glass blowers, or is it more than that?
Yes. So I am training. This is information to help other artists.
Okay.
But also, if people are interested in apprenticing with me or they're looking to work with me, this helps me kind of fast track them to how I work in the studio as well. So there is open, kind of an open-ended deal, right? Because this will bring people in to getting more knowledge, more understanding, as well as me building my company and people and giving other artists a chance to actually work on some really amazing creative projects with some amazing people.
That's very cool. So, do you have any projects in your mind that you want to work on, or maybe something that you're thinking about doing? I'm just curious because it just sounds, when I think about glass blowing, to me it just sounds like it's an endless opportunity of things you can make.
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, it really is. I'm actually working. I just was talking with a gentleman this morning. He's an NFT creator. And so I've been looking to partner with and actually create the NFT art, but as glass sculptures. So
what do you do? So you'd basically create a JPEG, or I guess whatever the source code is. I don't know of your art. Right. And you would be the only one, and it would be the only one to have. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and this is more. I'm looking to get in the NFT space, which is something I find really fascinating. I find it very forward thinking, and I think it's going to take art to a whole new space that we haven't seen. And so I know some of the projects that I'm working on, just with my own creations, right? Not just working with NFT artists, but I'm also looking and following the process of actually making NFTs for my art. So I think it'll be really amazing.
So I would think that, glass blowing is very 3D. Now, the art in NFT, would it be 3D just like the glass blowing?
Yeah, that's the goal. So I'm looking into the virtual space, right? The virtual, and finding ways. And this is why I don't have the NFTs right now. Is because there's so many ideas, right? We're all learning it. But absolutely, I'm looking to see how I can actually create a 3D space in the digital with my 3D real world asset, right?
Okay. So yeah, sure. So now you would actually create it in glass first and then create the NFT, or you would just create the NFT and you're no longer blowing glass? I'm just curious.
I probably would create the glass sculpture first.
Okay, gotcha.
And then create the NFT.
Okay.
So that way I would know how to design.
Right, yeah. So an original piece of art, and then you create it. I gotcha. Okay. That's pretty awesome, man. Sounds like fun.
For sure, yeah. No, it is going to be really cool because with the NFT process, I'm looking into venues to throw events while we're doing live glass blowing, having people in the studio. I think it's going to be a very, very cool thing. Having artists blowing fire around, very, very whimsical experience, shall I say? Yeah.
So I think you mentioned Deep Thought Studios a while back. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So events would be under Deep Thought Studios. Yeah. Correct.
And this is going to be your studio. So what kind of help are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody to help you with Deep Thought Studios? Are you looking for people to help you with glass blowing? Are you looking for people to help fund you? What is it that you're looking for?
Right now, I am. I can find assistance in the studio. My biggest challenge right now is just getting the funding for actually getting the Deep Thought Studios space.
Okay.
So I'm looking for people to partner up with and see how we can work together to make that happen.
Very cool. So what would somebody expect if they partnered up with you? Besides, your bubbly personality. I mean, that's the most exciting thing about you.
Right. Well, they can expect a lot of really cool art in their own homes for helping me out.
Of course, sure, that makes sense. Sure.
No, I would like to see. So, if anyone was to invest in Deep Thought Studios, being a part in helping as many artists as possible for one. Second off, being a part of the events, having their name, being able to have their name out there, market, be a part of that. I think there's actually a lot of opportunities to discuss with individuals when it comes to that. So.
All right. So now, when you leave this interview, are you going to go to the studio and start making something?
Actually, I am talking with a client right now, and actually tomorrow morning I will be in the studio creating something. So,
Can you tell us what it is? Can you tell us what it is?
Actually, I am creating some hand-blown pumpkins for the holidays, at least for Halloween. So, if you guys are looking for anything for the holiday season, I'm knocking some of those out for some clients.
Oh, that definitely sounds like fun. Okay, so real quick, how can people get a hold of you if they wanted to get a hold of you? Where can they go?
Best way is you can go to Instagram. I have Deep Thought Glass Art. And if you're looking to get one-on-one contact, my email is info@deepthoughtstudios.com. That's one thought, multiple studios.
Awesome, man. That's great. Hey, I totally appreciate you. You're awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing some art. And, maybe I can get a Money Chat Now logo made.
I love that. I think I'm going to do that for you, Larry.
I love getting free stuff.
I think I'm going to do that for you.
All right. I want to thank everybody else for watching the show. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is live every morning at 7:30 a.m. And you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And, of course, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed, and we'll see if we can make that happen. I hope you enjoyed today's interview with Mitchell McCormack, and we hope you'll tune in again. And don't forget, make it a profitable day.